Wednesday morning, the 4th of July, 1918. In order to regain power over Rasht, the men of the jungle attacked the English headquarters and its outskirts and invaded the city.
It's back. Another airplane's come. Boom!
Rasht was within the domain of the men of the jungle for 20 days, although it was constantly being bombarded by cannons and airplanes. The English military unit withstood against the attacks until the expeditionary forces arrived from Kazvin.
Let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Give me that. Hurry up. Hurry up. Freeze! Freeze! If you move, I'll shoot you. Turn around. Come over here.
No one's here.
Your father was speaking to the manager right over here.
The artillery started again.
Enayat, let's go tell your brother first so he can come here and we can all go search the bank together.
And tell him what? Hadn't we agreed on not telling anyone? We'll disgrace my father if anyone finds out. We'll have to look for the safe full of treasure ourselves.
Okay. But how?
Come on. First they went down this corridor, they turned left over there.
Fall back.
Take them outside.
What? Fall back.
What for? What's going on?
They're bringing the city down. They're bombarding the city left and right from the sky. Rasht's been invaded by the English military forces. We've been defeated. Von Pashan's ordered us to fall back.
Do you even understand what you're saying? First you said it was an order from Mirza, then from Von Pashan.
It doesn't matter. An order's an order.
As usual, all Von Pashant knows is to order a fallback, especially when he's not supposed to.
Maybe he knows something. Innocent people are being bombarded by these devils.
Well, more than 100 houses have been ruined.
So many people have been killed by bullets, cannons, and ruins.
Hurry up, they're coming down here with their armors.
It's pitch black down here.
My father said the treasure's in the basement.
Let's go back, Enayat.
There it is, the same vault my father was talking about.
Let's go back, Enayat. I'm scared.
Don't be scared. Come on, let's take the money. It'll cover the expenses of the army for at least a year. There must be a power switch behind it. Didn't I tell you? Do you even know how much money, gold, and old Iranian coins are in this? These wheels are used instead of locks. We have to turn them until it opens. Now I remember. I have to turn this little one first.
Let's shoot at the lock so it'll open.
Shoot it. It's bulletproof. It's just like armor. Ah. Did it open?
It was already open.
My father said the treasure vault was in the basement. A big safe that has 2 wheels on it.
Does this mean your father lied to us?
Look at these. My father never lies.
Dear Mr. Koochack Jenggali, may your benefits last. Faster. Write it faster, sir.
Very well.
I am
Mr.
writing you
Koochack
this letter in a condition in which
I think
the king, I have been deposed from my position as minister by the king.
Have you, sir?
I didn't resign, sir. The king deposed me. I was deposed. Now you write it down, sir. Due to our long-time friendship, and my recognition of your patriotism, and passion for liberty, in my term of office as minister, I have never withheld anything that I could from you. I have never withheld anything that I could from you. However, as we know, the people are compelled to forever be the victims of the unfit, vulgar politician. This era is unstable as well. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
I am forced to warn you of the dark and difficult days you have yet to come. And I shall also warn you, according to some documentation and evidence, there will be reconciliation between the evil English and its stooges. I do know that you have always despised politicians like me.
Sir, please wait. I didn't get it.
Thought of me as a person who gets what he wants with guns and bullets. But please, take this poor man's advice. And believe me when I say, a warrior sometimes needs to be a man of politics as well. According to documentations, Mr. Vasuk Aldole will be posted as the Minister of Britain. Based on his past record, which proves my statement of his enmity towards the Liberals and Constitutionalists, the ignorant king will give him permission to do anything he wants in this matter. Soon the Iranian fighting forces will be handed over to the English colonizers, which in this case you will be forced to stand against them. With a much more extended army that sadly includes some poorly informed Iranian soldiers. A war like this will not only lead to a civil war, God forbid, it might even lead to the defeat of the men of the jungle, who are the hope of the Liberals all over Iran. I think killing time and not going to war with the current joint forces, England and the rest of the White Russians, would be best for you. Especially if Vasuk Aldole's government makes a haste to the condition. God willing, the outcome will be in the revolutionaries' favor.
The first time when he became the minister, he dethroned my father. Inevitably, this time he'll form a plot to dethrone me. From this moment on, you will replace this Bakhtaran tribal as the minister of Iran.
Yes, sir.
The conditions are not good, sir. Try to complete your cabinet as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
And you call the police headquarters in the House of Cossacks and inform them that Samsam is not the minister anymore. Do whatever you can to make this Bakhtaran understand. If he tries to persevere, there will be a harsh outcome for him and the members of his cabinet.
Yes, sir.
Choose a worthy and a strong governor for Gilan and send as many Cossacks as you need from the Cossack house in Tehran to crush this jungle man. What's his name?
Mirza Koochack Khan, sir.
Will you go?
Where? Huh?
Gilan.
Okay.
You're taking up a huge responsibility, Mr. Grand Commander. How many soldiers do you need to put an end to these junglemen once and for all?
Soldiers? Huh. I won't be needing many, Mr. Vasuk Aldole. I'll need to play politics. The Cossacks only have to empower the English forces to break these jungle men.
This jungle man can play politics as well, sir. He's discontinuing the war with the English.
How?
The French ambassador is mediating between the jungle men and the English forces to negotiate for peace.
So I want more Cossacks.
Gentlemen, even though the responsibility of the wars in the past 4 days have been completely on the joint commanders of the officers of the Jungle Men and the Islamic Union Committee, the innocent people who've had nothing to do with these wars have suffered the wrecking consequences of the wars between both sides. It is a fact that the representatives of the men of the jungle have a huge responsibility towards the people. And as for you, the joint representatives, if you choose to enter the city by force, there will be irreparable consequences. As the representative of both sides of the war, I promise if the men of the jungle leave the city and return to their trenches on the other side of the bridge, you will be presenting any kind of excuse for the joint forces for combat. Considering the fact that the Russian forces do not intend to stay in Gilan, there's no need for the representatives of the jungle men to worry. I hope by following everything said and agreed on in this very long meeting by both sides, you will put an end to this unreasonable war immediately.
Yes, sir. Book of Results. In the name of God the Compassionate and Merciful, the matters agreed on by the Jungle Movement, the Islamic Union, and the English are as follows. First, the representatives of the Islamic Union Committee promised not to stop the armed forces on the road from Qazvin to Anzali, also known as the Iraq Road, unless the forces are forces other than the English or the Iranian government forces that try to enter Gilan from this road. Second, the representatives of the Islamic Union Committee promise to dismiss the foreign ranking officers and not hire ranking officers who are in war with England. Third, the representative of England promises not to interfere in the internal affairs of Iran. Fourth, the representative of the English forces promises not to violate the Islamic Union Committee's aim under any circumstance. Fifth, the representative of both sides promise that their armed forces will never enter the city.
The residents of Rasht must be invited to discuss the security and regulations in the affairs of Rasht.
The English were not obliged to stick to their promises for long, because after 2 months of the First International War, which resulted in their victory and the countries under pact with them, Britain had turned into an unbeatable power worldwide.
Is that Mirza Khan?
He's ill.
Living in the jungle's not easy, especially for someone who's lived abroad for years.
He didn't get sick in the jungle.
So where did he get sick?
Hello?
In prison.
Hello.
In prison? When? By who?
He was imprisoned in Qazvin by the English. He's been suffering severely from kidney pain ever since he's come back.
Come to Tehran with me. I know many doctors in the capital city.
He's decided to go there.
You see what Mirza's done to this poor man. How are you, Mirza Khan?
Hello.
He's here. It's about time Mr. Janggali showed up.
How are you?
Fine. What's up?
We have guest. Mr. Haj Ahmad and his brother are here.
Sheikh Mahmoud?
Yes.
How interesting. Gurab Zamikh's turned into an entertainment center for the English spies. It's tired. Let him rest first.
Were you reminiscing about your youth, Mirza? Why didn't you call us? We could have gone horseback riding.
You have to hold on to the horseshoe, Mr. Haji. You're too old for these things. Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
How's the fugitive newspaper writer feeling?
God willing, he'll feel fine soon.
Certainly.
Congratulations, Mr. Haji. When did your brother come?
It's been 2 or 3 days now. He's been waiting impatiently to see you.
It's good to know the capital city remembers the jungle men once in a while. What's new from the police station, Sheikh?
Everything's safe and sound.
Oh, so bravo, Mr. Vasuk al-Dole.
Apart from all these jokes, after hanging Lieutenant Hussein Kashi and his son in the artillery square of the capital city, everything's seriously safe and sound.
So it's our turn now.
I think you're right, Mirza. Here you are.
Your Excellencies, Mr. Mirza Koochack Khan and Mr. Haj Ahmad, may your prosperities last. Why haven't you put a cloak on your shoulders?
I'm fine. I'm much better today. Who's the message from?
I don't know. Maybe it's from Vasuk al-Dole.
Mr. Vasuk al-Dole sends his messages in a different way. Not by a letter.
The message is from Mr. Aldred, the consul of England.
Read it out loud. It's best for everyone to hear this.
He saw my brother in Rasht by chance yesterday, and my brother kindly accepted to bring it here for us.
Dear sirs, honorable friends, my kind friend Mr. Mirza Koochack Khan and Mr. Haj Ahmad, may your prosperities last. With respect, we received a telegraph from the Honorable Marshal of Qazvin yesterday. I would like to inform you the Honorable Representative of the Marshal, accompanied by the representative of the Great Government of Iran, will be coming on Saturday, the 7th of the Hamal before noon. To be more exact, 2 hours before noon. And we expect Your Excellency to be at the building mentioned with some of the leaders of your community at the time mentioned to meet with me and to notify us of His Britannic Majesty's government statements. And also, I hereby would like to inform you there will be 10 people accompanying the Honourable Representative. And Your Excellency will also be allowed to bring along 10 people apart from the leaders of your community. Finally, we expect you to inform the Cossacks at the Commissar Bridge of the arrival of the representatives, so they will not cause any problems. With respect and high hopes for a better and stronger friendship. 6th of Hamal, 1298, 23rd of March, 1919. Aldred, the English consul. What day is it today?
Friday.
There's something fishy about this letter. How come they get to go with as many people as they want, but we get to go with only 10 people?
This letter's like a black shadow. God knows what's behind it.
On the contrary, it's very clear. It's just a meeting to solve your problems. You keep attacking the roads, and they will bother your men whenever and wherever they can. Some days ago, they went to my brother's house and plundered his house. They burned down your newspaper office.
You can't have two lovers and love two things at the same time. At one point, you have to choose between them.
When you go to the place you're supposed to meet, and I assure you nothing will happen.
I'm telling you it's a trap, and you're telling me to walk right into it. I have nothing to say to the English community, Haji.
stop all this hostility, Brother Mirza.
What am I supposed to tell Aldrid? Didn't we compromise after the Manjil War? A day hasn't gone by without their aeroplanes bombarding the people, their cows and sheep, and killed them.
It's been a couple of days that a new governor's come. Timur Tash has come with 2,000 troops to protect these areas, to replace the English. When we gave the welfare to the jungle men, it was for you to get rid of the foreign troops, not to oppose the central government.
Yes, but were the only foreigners the Russians? The English attacked our lands for no reason, using the Germans and the Ottomans as an excuse. Now that the war between the governments has reached truce, now that they've defeated the Germans, why don't these English aeroplanes go back to their country? When they leave our land, then we won't have any more problems with them. If they choose to stay here, then we'll stay here too. When I saw the signature of the English consul, I was totally shocked. Was this great commander, Timur Tash, like this? And you're still talking about the central government?
If you're uncertain about going, then why don't one of you go instead of both of you?
That one person's not going to be Mirza Koochack Khan.
You definitely know what's best for your government. I'll go alone. I'm sure they have some suggestions that they've requested a meeting. Inform the others tonight to arrange a meeting for consultation and deliberation.
He's brought the rookie of Vusuk al-Dole to make decisions for us.
2 or 3 days ago, Kazem saw the snitch in the English consul's carriage and rushed.
When you go to Tehran, go and talk to Saad ala Dervish and see what he has to say about Sheikh Mahmud. How he greases their hands to provide security for Haj Ahmad. Mr. Haj Ahmad had gone to the English consulate in Rasht. And this is the souvenir he's brought for us. Read it out loud.
Dear, kind, glorified, respectful, and generous Mr. Mirza Koochack Khan, may your magnificent prosperity last. In August 1918, the official military agents of the English government had concluded a treaty between you, Mirza Koochack Khan, and the representatives of the Islamic Union Board in order to prevent conflict. The reason for this treaty was to put an end to the disputes, not to protect the rebel peasants of Iran and their king or their government. That's why the official agents of the English government have decided to take matters into their own hands. Secondly, it is clear to the official agents of the English government that your stance towards your own government is not legitimate and is against lawful rules. Therefore, if you continue your way in the issues mentioned, not only will you lose the friendship of the English government agents, you will have to wait for them to organize the affairs regarding Gilan along with the Iranian government. However, you can always count on our great friendship, for we will not allow any harm to come to you or any of your followers. So you will either agree on getting along with the Iranian government, or if for any reason you do not agree, to force yourself to follow the government laws. Even though you are famous for your patriotism and honesty, you will have to leave Iran until circumstances change. In this case, we will accept to give you shelter between the two rivers and treat you in a decent manner. We are hoping that you will accept either one of our offers, which either decision will be in your best interest, as well as the law and organization. You must accept one of the options. It's the handwriting and signature of that greedy dog, Hassan.
Book of results.
Villain.
I'll kill him as soon as I get my hands on him.
Read it, Hassan.
You are required to send the answer in written form in 5 days' time. The last day is Friday the 13th of Hamal or the 2nd of May. If you do not reply by the time required, it will mean you have not accepted our advice.
Whose signature's at the end of the letter?
Captain Vic Khan.
He's the manager of the Political Bureau of England in Iran. He'd come to Rasht. At first, the only foreigners we had to face were the Russian government and the Tsar. And now we have to face the English government as well. And little by little, we'll be colliding with the Iranian government.
Were you expecting something other than this, Mr. Haj Ahmad?
I have never been a rebel, and I do not intend to be a rebel from now on either.
We have to be thankful that this captain has only called us rebels. If you recall, when the Russians were here, General Ovsenkov has called us thieves of the roads.
I didn't mean to offend you. I just wanted to remind you of the deals we'd made before. Our deal was to fight against any foreign penetrations and any foreign violations. We wanted to stop them from any interference in our internal affairs.
Now, sir, you intend to stop the foreigners from interfering in our internal affairs?
Whether I intend to or not is not the concern. These types of matters should be taken care of by the government, not us. By the Chancellorship of Vasuk al-Dowleh for the government. Not only is the condition of the country getting better, but so is the condition of the army improving.
The peace contract was just a fraud the English pulled off on us. They didn't want to make peace. They wanted to buy the central government time.
Now you expect us to compromise with Vasuk al-Dowleh, who's been supported by foreign governments?
Assuming that he's been supported by foreign governments, he's committed to his job. How are you going to go to war with the government with these weapons and troops? I've heard when they wanted to send Taimur Tash to govern Gilan, they sent him with 20,000 troops, and now the 20,000 are in Rasht.
So you're suggesting we just sit here and wait for the great Commander Taimur Tash to come and humiliate any one of us?
Do you really think you can go to war with the army of the government and the English forces with an army that has no training? This is not called war. It's called killing innocent people. Have you forgotten what happened to us in the war in Manjil? I'm not going to involve myself in these murders anymore.
Vasuk al-Dowleh is betraying the country to the English for nothing. By this contract. And you expect us to sit here and play dumb just because we had a bad experience in Manjil? And that we don't have weapons? What a duty.
I'm not telling anyone what to do. Being a rebel to the government has never been my aim. This path will lead us to the gallows. That's all.
There's a way out, Mr. Haji. God willing, my relatives and friends have good news for me from Tehran. Congratulations on governing Fumanat.
Haj Ahmad, wait. He's leaving.
Mohammed Hassan, get on, let's go.
Gentlemen, do something. He's sulking.
Let him go. The traitor. Let him get the hell out of here.
Mr. Haji, wait up. Where are you going? Come downstairs, please.
A gun will have to end this between us, Mirza. Only a gun. Get going.
He's just in denial about the whole thing and pretends that no one knows what his brother and Vasuk al-Dowleh are up to.
It's been a long time that we've lost Haj Ahmad's friendship. We should be happy he left.
I bet he's going to sign a deal with a Swedish company for silkworms.
Now, gentlemen, please have a seat so we can think of something.
Oh, Allah.
Anyhow, the English have only left us with two options. One of them is to surrender. The other is to immigrate to a holy place.
Maybe with the English security letter.
Surrendering to Fusuk al-Dawla's government is no different than surrendering to the foreign government.
I think Temurtash is well supported by the English. Otherwise, how could this deadline of surrendering in 5 days be so precise?
Perhaps he wants to give his new arrival army a break.
I'm not going to surrender. I do not intend to leave Gilan either, especially not from Iran. Murdering my fellow men is not in my blood. So what should I do?
I can't think of anything anymore, Mirza. It's all up to you.
If the English have placed Fusuk al-Dawla to supply the army, it means they don't feel sorry for Iran or the Iranians. Now that the Russian army's gone, they're left all alone. So they're planning on establishing a national army to suppress us. The English are just like a black shadow. You can see them everywhere except for the battlefield. You go to war with them, but when you get to the front line, you find yourself fighting with Russian soldiers, Indian soldiers, or barefoot colonials. We have to bring the English Empire down, not only in the garrison of Rasht. This is what the Bolsheviks are planning on doing, especially now that they're at war with the English in Caucasia. If we unite with the Bolsheviks, get men from them, get military equipment, get weapons from them, the English soldiers will have no choice but to throw themselves in the sea.
People have been suffering the cruelties of the Russians for years now.
We have to make people understand. The Russians that inflicted suffering on us for many years were all killed by the Bolsheviks. This Trotsky is an official for the English.
Who?
Trotsky. Leo Trotsky.
Well, who is this Monsieur Trotsky?
Right here. He's the foreign minister of Lebanon. On ne sait jamais.
This is an old newspaper, isn't it?
Yes, it's old. It's from a year ago.
It says the foreign minister Lenin is a spy for the English.
No, not so frankly. Mr. Trotsky used to live in America, in New York. Exiled by the government of the Tsar. Last year, he went to Russia with 175 Bolsheviks by the ship called SS Christopher.
Oh, so since Trotsky's been to America, he's a spy for the English?
The story all starts when the Canadian government stopped him in Halifax port. And Trotsky and his fellow travelers were arrested. Then the American and English government both put Canada under pressure to free Trotsky. After 5 days, Trotsky and his fellow men are freed from prison and go to Russia by the same ship.
So the ship that Lenin was on that took him to Russia was protected by the Germans. Perhaps he's a spy for the Germans.
What was he trying to prove, Dr. Heshmat? Was he trying to claim he was the sole leader of a revolution that stood against England, is now an English spy?
What's wrong with that? You know how the English are, how sly they are.
What a story. What are you trying to say? Sir, are you seriously claiming that this person is a spy for England? Now, let's suppose that what you're saying is true. What kind of spy is he to let the German army join other sectors and let thousands of other English soldiers die in spite of concluding a truce in the borderlines of Russia?
It doesn't matter how many Indian or English soldiers are killed. What matters is how this war's going to change the conditions in the world. What matters is how the government of the Bolshevik is going to change the plans of the people who want to lead the world, and what role they'll play in this condition.
This theory of yours is pretty interesting. It was an amusing entertainment for the gentleman.
Mr. Hassan Allah Khan, please try to stay calm when you're conducting a conversation.
You know what, Mr. Mirza?
One has to be very prejudiced towards the Bolshevik to think that they don't have any spies or agents of foreign influence in them.
Spies, Mirza? Like Trotsky, a person? Like this, we have to be suspicious of every movement.
No, not of every movement. But you have to be suspicious of the movements that are built on materialists and nihilists.
Do you think the same way, Mr. Mirza?
You must not trust people who don't believe in God and don't have boundaries.
He's right.
These kinds of revolutionists are always corrupted, and they even betray themselves.
Mr. Mirza, do you agree with them?
I'm not denying the fact that some materialists enter wars or revolutionary activities with honest intentions, but in the lives of the leaders of any movement, there are times when enemies try to buy them off with money or promises of governing. In these cases, there are very few nihilists who wouldn't fall for them. Therefore, movements that are based on materialism, you have to be more careful with them.
Now is not the time to be cautious, Mirza. It's time to start acting. It's time to unite with the Bolsheviks that are the enemies of the English. They don't say their evening prayers, but they're enemies with the English. From this day on, Haj Ahmad must be known as an English agent. Tash has come with 20,000 troops to massacre anyone who's against the English. It's time to unite with the Bolsheviks, to beat them to the punch, or else we will lose the case forever.
What's going on?
Did Mr. Haj Ahmad sulk with us?
Yes. He went off to conclude a brotherhood contract with Tash.
I knew from the very beginning this man was unaccountable. You can't climb into a well of people with a decayed rope.
May he always be brought happily to mind. In the last days of the war, Major von Pashan had a great plan to attack the English at night.
These things are not doable. Sheikh Ali, don't do something to make us face the forces of the government. They're 20,000 people, all armed and trained Cossacks. I'm sure they have the cannons and the airplanes of the English. We won't even stand an hour in front of them.
I'm 100% sure that Haj Ahmad has gotten the security letter from Vosok al-Dole. By him drawing aside from us, the Formanat area is not a safe place for us anymore. Especially around Kazma.
Mirza, you have to go to the mountains, which is a naturally strong place and no one can find you there. Or you have to go somewhere where the people can protect you for a very long time.
Like where?
Let's go to Lahijan and live with the doctor.
No.
Lahijan is the best place for you to hide out, Mirza. The people there won't let us be alone. And a place where there are many people involved, a long-time war will not be in the government's best interest.
If the people have been with us till now, it's because we were dealing with foreign forces. But from tomorrow on, we'll be dealing with Iranian Cossacks, not with the Russian soldiers. Murdering my fellow men is not in my blood, Mirza Hassan Khan.
It's in no one's blood. Until when, Mirza? How much longer are you going to fight?
Eventually, I'll find another way.
چقدر جنگل خوسی ملت وسیع خسته نبوسی می جان جانانم ترگم میرزا کوچک خانم خدا دانه که من نتانم خفتن از ترس دشمن بی دل و بیزارم ترگم میرزا کوچک خانم چرا زودتر نایی تندر نایی تنها بنایی گیلان ویرانم ترگم میرزا کوچک خانم چقدر جنگل خوسی ملت وسیع خسته نبوسی